So, good evening everyone. Today my topic is the fall of Troy, the return of Greeks. I am your today's reporter, DJ Bidiniel. Sit back, relax, and learn a piece of history. So, first of our main cast list is Achilles. Achilles is a demigod, the greatest warrior among the Greek rank, and during the Trojan War, he was the greatest Greek soldier. It was said that Achilles was invincible. He cannot be killed. Although he is half human, half god, so he is called a demigod. And in this story, we will also know Helen, Helen of Troy, the queen of Sparta, the wife of Menelaus, and was abducted by Paris. So, we will also know that how the Greeks were so smart to use a decoy in the form of the Trojan horse to infiltrate the unconquerable city of Troy. So, next of our main characters list is Hector. Hector was the greatest the greatest Trojan warrior at the time to defend Troy against the Greeks. It was said that he was able to kill so many Greeks during their battle. And next in our list will be Paris. So, Paris, the younger brother of Hector, who fell in love with Helen, the most beautiful woman in their time, that initiates the Trojan War. So, if you were in their predicament, what would you do if somebody would stole away the person you love? Would you go to war for that one person? So, furthermore in the story, at the beginning of the war between Greeks and Trojans, King Agamemnon, Helen's previous lover, rallied other Greek city-states to launch an attack against the Trojan. All Greek city-states answered to the call to send armies to fight against the Trojan except the Thebes. If you don't know, Greece is one country, but even if it is one country, there are different states, and states are the independent political body that governs a country. So, in Tagalog, meron silang isang bansa pero iba't ibang gobyerno. So, furthermore, because of the Thebans, they believe fighting the Trojans is foolish. So, the Thebans didn't send army because they believe fighting the Trojans is such a foolishness. Hence, King Agamemnon sent an army to crush the Thebans, plunder their riches, and abduct their women. And one of the women that was abducted was named Chryseis. She is a daughter of a priest. So, furthermore in the story, during nightfall, a priest arrived at the Greek camp, and it was Chryseis' father. He talked to the king, King Agamemnon, and begged that he would release his daughter. But instead of listening to the old man, the Greek king laughed at him, treated him badly, and also threatened to kill him. That's why the old man left, because of the king's intimidation. So next is that when the old man left, he kneeled at the shoreline and prayed to the god Apollo. And the god Apollo was so merciful. He sent an arrow against the Trojans for punishing them on how their king treated an old man who is a priest to the god Apollo. And also Achilles witnessed this event. So furthermore in the story, after the wrath of the god Apollo, Achilles witnessed it, and then he was worried. So he went to King Agamemnon with his generals. So during their meeting, he was there shouting and begging the king that he would release Chryseis to his father. But the king was insulted of what was coming out of Achilles' mouth. Therefore, he said, I don't follow orders from mere warrior. Although he respect Achilles' combat skills, but that offended him. And also, that statement from the king offended Achilles. Therefore, they had a falling down. So day after that, the Greek soldier situation is getting worse because of the sickness Apollo inflicted on them. Because of this, King Agamemnon decided to release Chryseis to his father, and all other slaves are released. Achilles was insulted by the king's statement, so he didn't join the war. So Achilles didn't join the war after being verbally insulted. Imagine A great warrior cannot stand emotional appeal. So, in continuation, during the dawn, thousands of soldiers are fighting over one woman, Helen of Troy, the king, the king's wife, and then after she saw Paris, it was all on Helen because when she saw young, handsome, attractive Paris, she easily fell in love. And then by her choice, she went to Troy because she was feeling in love with Paris and maybe she's not satisfied with this current husband, Menelaus. Therefore, because of that bribery, hence the Trojan War. So furthermore to the story, because of extreme fear, so before all of that, Hector, the the brother of Paris, was confronting Paris because of what he did, because of his loss. Their entire kingdom is in jeopardy. Their children are in grave danger. Their citizens will be enslaved if they get defeated, and their beautiful city will be ruined. That's why he said that he wished his younger brother was never been born. Therefore, because of that statement from his brother, Paris went to the battle and challenged the strongest Greek warrior. And then King Agamemnon heard that and said, I will be the one that will kill you. And because of that extreme fear for what the king said to Paris, Paris hid behind his brother, crying on the ground. The Greeks were laughing at Paris while the Trojans were feeling ashamed of him. But he was a little bit embarrassed because he don't want his abducted wife Helen to hear about his cowardice. So he pulled himself together and confronted the king. He was outclassed by the king's speed and power and was dragged to the Greek ranks. And then suddenly, the goddess Aphrodite appeared and then needle and brought Paris to his beloved wife, Helen of Troy. So, knowing that the Greeks were having a bad time dealing with the Trojans and also dealing with Apollo's wrath due to the sickness he inflicted on them, one boy named Patroclus, best friend of Achilles but also his cousin, he tried to ask Achilles, but Achilles don't want to join the war because of the king. So Patroclus had an idea to disguise himself as Achilles and went to the battle. That was a little bit crazy for him to do. So he went to the battle using Achilles' armor and helmet. He disguised himself as Achilles. Because of that, the morale of the Greek soldier went up fighting against the Trojan. But one unfortunate event happened. Patroclus was killed by Hector. Hector celebrated it because of course that is the biggest fish among the enemy ranks and he was able to kill it. But to his surprise, the person he killed wasn't Achilles, but just a kid who was pretending to be Achilles. His celebratory mode changed. Instead of being happy, he was all worried of what Achilles might do. So before all of that, he went to his wife and talked to his son and kissed his son to the forehead. It's like saying daddy goodbye. So furthermore in the story, during their battle, Hector was outclassed by Achilles' speed and power. Achilles killed Hector and dragged his body all over the Trojan wall using a chariot. All of Troy was grieving, his wife Andromache was grieving, and King Priam, the father of Hector, the king of Troy, personally went to Achilles begging to give him his son's corpse because he want to give Hector a proper burial for a prince. So next is that Achilles gave the body to Hector and said all Greek soldiers will attack Troy for 12 days in respect of the grieving kingdom. Time passes because of the impenetrable defense of Troy. Odysseus come up with an idea to give the Trojans a big wooden horse as a gift. The Trojans accepted the gift. Little did they know inside the horse are Greek soldiers and Achilles. In midnight, when everyone was asleep, Achilles and his troops attacked the enemies and burned the city. So it was the so-called Trojan horse that penetrated the Trojan wall. So King Agamemnon killed King Priam, but Chryseis also stabbed King Agamemnon, leading to his end. The god Apollo appeared to Paris and decided to help the Trojans. He advised Paris to use a bow and rain arrows on the Greeks. So furthermore, in our getting interesting stories, so sit back, drink a coffee, and relax to even learn further about the story. So next in the phase is that Paris thinks twice killing Achilles because he does not die easily. Because when he was little, his mother put him in a lake called Styx. Because of that his body became invincible except for his ankles where his mother hold him. Apollo stated that the gods know his life has ended because of the path he chose. He chose to join the war for the sake of fame and honor. Hence, Paris put his arrow into poison and rained upon his enemy. Achilles' ankle was hit by an arrow. He immediately fell from his chariot and died. So that was an unfortunate end for Achilles, and I think that is all. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.